I'm pretty sure Will
the
Smith.
Let me start it off real quick and we can talk. Welcome to the Broskiedoodles Podcast. It's your boy KIKO Cervantes. You also have your co-hosts available with you. They weren't with me last week, but you know they're now here. They're not here. They also got shit to do. They got kids, you know. Big John has to be repairing airplanes so they stay in the air. So you know, he has a very important job. Thank you guys for joining us, Big John, Adrian. So we're talking about the Chris Rock and the Will Smith slap. It is a little bit late for this coming out today because people already talked about this shit. But we have a little opportunity to talk about it a little after the fact, after things are done. But yeah. So you were saying, John, that or Adrian, about the Jake Paul offering them to
Each
do like
of them
a fight.
$5 million for a nice little celebrity death match. Viewed on what is it? Thriller. Man, I think Will Smith will beat his ass. Got longer arms. He's played Ali.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bigger guy and probably more athletic. And he's also younger. I think like quite younger.
Yeah, Chris Rock.
But I mean, I don't think this even gets there, you know, like it's stupid. But I think you need to offer them more than 5 million because I don't think, you know, like they got money, you know.
Yeah, they would pay $5 million not to do this.
But you would be like 100 million each. Maybe you'll think about it. And I'm pretty sure, and I think you can even make that money back if you're the promoter. Like, you can make more than 200 million on the pay-per-view of that. You would. That would be the biggest pay-per-view that ever was done in the world. Don't you think so? Think about the insanity. Think about the insanity, bro, of the whole world getting together to see a pay-per-view of Will Smith and Chris Rock. Like, that's the point where aliens are looking at us and like, yeah, we gotta nuke this world now. The simulation has gone.
This stops here.
Yeah, this.
And you have Pete Davidson, Kanye in the undercard.
Oh my God, bro. You laugh. We're laughing, but you know it's true. You know it would be the biggest pay-per-view ever sold.
You got the Ukrainian president and Putin fighting.
You see? Dana White, DM us.
You got Trump versus Biden. Oh, for 2024 presidential election.
Biden and Kamala against Trump.
And who? Pence? No, or DeSantis? Oof.
No, just one because
just Trump.
Biden is pretty much
equals one.
Biden is pretty much like a third of a person at this stage.
Also, like a handicap match, like a 2v1.
Yeah, like
basically. I'm pretty sure if Will Smith would have slapped Biden like that, he'd still be out cold.
Would they have the ladder match or the cage?
Yeah, man. It is really becoming that MTV show, Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh, damn. I missed that show.
They all great.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about some things. We spoke on the movie review with the crew. So if that hasn't come out yet, it will come out in the next movie review with the crew about this Disney movie, Turning Red. So we're not gonna go into depth into that movie because we already reviewed it, but it has to do a little bit with the topic of Disney going more woke, and this recently came out on a statement where apparently a lot of the employees were requesting Disney to make certain changes regarding the characters in movies, and apparently Disney agreed to have 50% of the characters be minorities. So that's something that they like committed to. I would assume this means that every movie would have half of them not be minorities and the other half, you know, I guess be white. And then yeah. So, and I had some people. I saw some like news channel going to certain communities in Disney. You know how Disney has like this community where people can live and you live sort of like in a Disney community? One of them is called Celebration, but there's, you know, others. And they're like, a lot of people are like against it. You know, they're not going to renew their annual passes. So I don't know. I wanted to bring this topic to you guys to see if you think this could be something that is a decline, the start of a decline for Disney, or at least they're going to have some financial hits for doing this, or if you think it will go as normal.
Damn, it's tough to say. Because they have such a loyal fan base, and every kid wants to, you grow up watching Disney movies, and it's kind of expected. But yeah, I think if they go too far one side, they'll start losing a lot of their loyal fan base. The thing is that they need tough competition to take it away. I don't know if the competition will also start doing the same thing, and then people don't really have a choice but to watch it.
Don't they already kind of have a lot of inclusion in most of the movies anyway? Like, how much more are they gonna do? Like,
now it's mandatory.
Like, are the Marvel movies gonna be inclusive? Are the all the series that they run, are they also gonna be inclusive? I mean, the parks, the parks now, they're not saying ladies and gentlemen anymore. They're just saying, I don't know. What
Welcome, you freaks.
Fellow dreamers.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. All right. So the whole thing with the 50% is Carrie Berg, the president of Disney General Entertainment, released a video via Twitter saying that the company will be making a big leap forward for representation of the LGBTQ and minorities. At least 50% of characters in their content being LGBTQ or from an underrepresented community. Yeah. At least a minimum of 50% of the characters.
And then what happens? So the other 50% is white?
I don't know, because then wouldn't whites then also be underrepresented?
They will be now the minority. No, I mean they'll still be majority.
But not in the movies, and they'll be underrepresented in the movie.
No, because if they're 50%, and then the other 50% is shared between the others.
So it's like
the other.
Out of the 50%,
if you have 50% of the movie being gay, and you have 20% of the movie being black, 10% of the movie being Asian, 5% being Hispanic.
Oh, wait up. So the 50% is not all the minorities. It's just LGBT.
She wants a minimum of 50% of the characters to be either LGBTQIA and racial minorities.
Okay, so that means that the other 50% keeps being white?
And cis.
That's my line. I want at least 50% of the people there being white. 51% so that they can get the vote.
Yeah, because you have like a white gay person.
Yeah, where does he fall into?
Yeah, it is weird because now they're going to make movies based on hitting this metric as opposed to producing movies with a good storyline.
As opposed to making good movies. Like in Turning Red.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
We'll see if they take a financial hit. A lot of people aren't renewing their
I think
passes.
It's sad because, as we noticed with the movie that we saw, the recent Disney movie, it seems that this is gonna be something that's gonna damage the quality of the stories because, it seems that unfortunately when they have the priority of being diverse and inclusive first, it's almost automatic that the quality of the actual story is gonna take a hit because when you're trying to please that on in front of the actual essence of the story, you're already fucking up the artistic process, And I think this is gonna be fucked. I think I'll be honest with you. Last time I went to Disney, I went with you, Adrian, and it was fucking expensive. The lines were huge. And I was already like, man, I'm a little annoyed at this. And I had a much better time in Islands of Adventure, a lot just friendlier. It wasn't as expensive, and also lines weren't there. I just felt like it was just more comfortable to go there. So This is, to me, like next time I go to the U.S., I'm probably not gonna go to the Disney parks, or maybe I just go to one because maybe my girl. But I prefer to go to the Island of Adventure ones. And it's not about the wokeness, but this does tip the line because it's like they were so good at making great movies, Pixar, and now I feel like this is gonna take a hit on their quality.
Yeah,
it's like how cops have to patrol the streets to hit a certain quota versus actually patrolling the streets to fight crime or whatever. They end up stopping you for random bullshit just to fill a quota.
Right.
And
Well, do you
it-
think
and it-
other companies are going to follow suit and start doing the same thing, just to also be woke? Because if that's the case, then if everybody's producing the same type of content, then we all suffer
You
from
have
all
Ben
sides of it.
Shapiro's Daily Wire. Amidst all this stuff, they're starting their own production company for kids, movies and series and shit. So you're gonna have a pushback. I'll be honest with you. I would prefer it wasn't on one side or the other. I would prefer it was just good art and that's it. Because even though I think Ben Shapiro, a lot of the things he says, make sense. I don't know if their content is gonna be like, super like
creative. Let's go with creative.
No, I don't know. Maybe it is good, but they also have an agenda, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And even if I might agree with a lot of that agenda,
It's still an agenda.
it's still an agenda. When I look at art, I don't want to fucking be looking at my agenda. I want to look at art that's good, that challenges my views in a cool way, But I'm not. I gotta see whatever they come out with first. But it would be
wonder how
good that
much
it
money
wasn't
they
a
have into it.
Sorry.
I wonder how much money they put into that production company too, because there's only a certain level of quality that you're gonna.
No, I think they
get
put
with that
like,
money.
bro, like $100 million or some shit. They already came out with a few movies, not for kids, but just like, and they're super, good production. Where they hired that girl Gina Carano, I think, who got fired from the Star Wars.
Oh.
and she did like they're gonna do like a movie with her being like strong woman and so
A strong woman.
strong woman. No, but so yeah, you're gonna. I actually think it's good that you have those things popping up on the other side to balance it. But ideally, we would have people that have common sense and just want to do great art rather than have to speak for their fucking side, and try to like we're gonna have 50% woke on the movie and it's gonna be like this and I want to have it this and it's like now it's like cringy. Now you made it fucking weird.
You're just checking off boxes when you make movies.
And you hear this like with comics, like when you go to Netflix and you start seeing the stand-up specials. I think they've lost the title of having the best comedy specials, and you have a bunch of people there just because they check their boxes. It's like you can't have all these white comedians or whatever that are just simple, white, straight, even if they're the best. I'm not saying the white ones are the best. I'm saying there's definitely sometimes people that you're like, this guy's not even that good, but you might assume, okay, check certain boxes,
Do you think that even does anything? Like having so much diversity in these movies, and like, you think kids are like, oh, now I know about what a transgender is, and now I'm more accepting than I would have been otherwise? Like people are. Like,
I had a
don't
conversation with a friend recently, like we were drinking, and she said like, we're talking about this topic, and she actually said like, no, I actually like how movies are putting more people, minorities, because I actually think it's cool. And she's Latina. She's Latinx. She's Latinx. Huh?
Latinx.
I think it's effective and it does something. Like, I don't know if Graham watches a movie and it says stop racism, that all of a sudden he's like, yeah, maybe I will stop being racist
I
now.
don't think so. But also, as much as I like freedom of speech, I have to respect somebody's opinion. And if they feel that helps them feel more included, then I can't deny them of that opinion. But I don't see how that would make me feel that way. I think that when I saw Spider-Man or Superman growing up, I was never like, if only he was Latino, I could relate, like.
Right.
But I guess that's just because
superhero?
that's because I always identified as a cisgender white male.
Yeah.
So maybe
we
that's...
only have Speedy Gonzalez to represent us.
Oh. Hashtag not my héroe.
Not my héroe.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's
that would be my question, if it's effective, because a lot of the commercials that I run on Nickelodeon and on Disney have these talking points, stop racism and being more inclusive. And I'm like, does my 5-year-old even know what the hell you're talking about? Would they have been racist otherwise?
Like this is the way that I look at it. When I was in high school and growing up, I remember, and this was in Florida, right? I remember it being very much almost to the point where like nobody really cared if you were gay or whatever. Like I didn't see any much discrimination or anything like that. So I'm assuming that if you're a kid today in 2022, everyone is just like included already. Everybody's in the fucking melting pot. So when you bring up the topic of racism to these kids, I actually think it's counterproductive where they're like, wait, what? I thought we're all equal. Like, what do you mean? I don't know. Do you think so, or do you think it might be like a? Because I mean, this ties to the Ron DeSantis topic about the gay bill right in Florida, which I don't really, or they don't say gay bill right in Florida, which I don't really know what it really means. But it almost feels, from what I understand, is that Ron DeSantis and them, they just don't want like all these sexual orientations to be spoken about before 3rd grade.
Yeah, from K to 3, which I'm like, I don't really see the problem in it. I don't know if I'm missing something. I don't get, but I feel like that shouldn't be talked about, even if it was talking about any sort of sex to my 5-year-old.
Okay.
It was it'd be 5 through 8 years old. Like they have no business learning about that period, whether it's
3rd grade is 8 years old, right?
Yeah. So it's like, what are you even having these? You should be teaching a lot of other things. Okay.
Yeah.
John, do you think if you would have had this type of education that they're trying to put, you wouldn't have lost your virginity in the 1st grade?
I might have lost it sooner.
Okay.
Oh, you could do that? I didn't know. What? No, I mean, like, this is a very touchy subject. Like, with the whole.
Can you explain why? Because I really don't get it.
It's I don't get the outrage in people wanting to talk about gay stuff or like transgender issues with kids between ages 5 and 8. Like that makes no sense. Like I was reading 8-year-old Chinese kids are learning pre-calculus. Our 8-year-old kids are learning the difference between male and female and how everybody could be anybody. Like there's a difference. Like what should a kid be learning to make them better fit individuals in life, regardless of their sex, gender, and all this other good stuff? Like sexual education is important, but at an age appropriate time. Like because the whole thing is that it's the parents' job to instruct them about sex and sexual education. That's all fine and dandy, but what if you got parents that don't do that? Because that happens. There's parents that are closeted or hermits.
Homosexuals.
Let's not. wait, Kiko, when you're doing your own time, that's up to you. But that they don't have this ability to be able to talk about this with their kids. So what ends up happening? You got an 18-year-old that's never talked about sex with anybody in their life. That all their concept of sex is porn on the computer or on their phone.
Fire. Hey, no, but look, actually, I'm with you on this because I think that the sex education that we got in high school, our generation, right? We graduated 2007, 2010, around there. That sex education was perfectly fine. I think that's fine. And I think we got it like when we were like 15 or 16. And it was like, this is the vagina and this is the penis. The penis goes into the vagina. And then everybody was like, And then it's like, this is a period. This is the AIDS. This is gonorrhea. This is herpes. That sheds forever. Like.
They're sending you pictures, right?
They show you pictures and you're like, fuck.
And then they made you do the research project. All right, everybody pick a venereal disease. Yeah,
and get it.
Yeah, go get it.
Okay, what was wrong with it? And look, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some conservative parents that don't even want that, right? They're like, God damn it! If anybody's gonna teach my kid about sex, go be me. God damn it!
He's gonna watch me fuck his mom.
My daughter ain't having sex till she married.
Right. So I mean, and to be honest, I don't know if I guess they have the right for that too. But I guess for that you would have to put them in a private school. I don't know. But I think that the kids should be, because you're right, John. You might come from a fucked up family where they don't even teach you anything. So it might be good for you to learn about venereal diseases and all that shit. Now,
what's the age? What's the appropriate age?
I don't know, like 15 type shit, right?
So like 10th grade. That's when I got the.
That's when we did it, right? Wasn't that class home ec where they gave some girls a fake baby?
No, not home ec. It was like health and no sé qué.
Yeah, and they gave you a baby and you try not to kill it for 3 days.
I never got the baby. Damn,
I was one of the shit.
I only got the gonorrhea.
And that shit is for life.
For life.
Okay, so
I think I got it in middle school.
Middle
grade.
school.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian does come from a more fucked up area of Miami, so they get to those things a little earlier.
And a newer generation too.
And that's fine. I think 13 years old, when you're going through puberty and you have the changes, is when it's a good appropriate time. So I don't understand the outrage between K and 3. Like
8th grade, you have your first prom. 8th grade
boner.
Well, no, the first boner you get like a age 10 or something. Or I mean,
damn.
No, I mean, even earlier, but like your first
Johnny's bringing
boner.
that big dick energy.
Like the early
4
dick
years
energy.
old.
I don't know about.
I was gunning that shit already. It was good.
But
I
yeah,
don't remember
like
really when was my first
the first time you have an interaction with, I mean, like, well, your hormones could start developing as soon as 9 years old. You know, you could start changing as soon as 9. There's been cases of 9-year-old girls being pregnant. Obviously, in other countries, a little bit less educated.
Obviously, in international waters,
where the laws of the land don't apply. But
God damn.
But yeah,
Jack
like,
Sparrow land, baby. No, but look, yeah, it's
where was the sex education then?
I think, well, in those cases, I don't think education would have helped either way.
No, definitely not.
I mean, at the end of the day, bro, like there's things that only your parents can teach you, and that's their responsibility. That's their responsibility. I think the school should teach, sex education just like they've been teaching it for the last fucking 60 years. You know, this is the vagina, this is the penis, this is what happens when a kid. This is a condom. This is the venereal disease. This is what a herpes looks like. So you don't want to get that shit. And let's do a little project, a little PowerPoint presentation, and that's it. And then you go to college, and then you get all those venereal diseases, and you test it out yourself. That's how that has been the American way for 65 years.
The circle of life. So yeah, I really don't understand the K through 3 thing that like there's a huge outrage and teachers like they now can't talk about it all. You should have been talking about it in the first place.
I think the outrage stems from the fact like they kind of condense it to like it just like you can't say gay, but the bill actually says that you can't talk about sexual orientation and gender issues from K through 3. But people just say, "Oh, don't say it's a don't say gay bill." That's not what the bill says. You know, like before you start attacking somebody, educate yourself as to what it is that they're saying. Don't just attack them just to be attacking and stuff. And
a lot of people saying that it's impossible.
The what?
The teacher is saying that it's going to be impossible for them to do their job now.
What?
Yeah,
that's like me saying like in my
impossible?
job, like wait, so I can't be jerking off and expressing who I am? How am I even going to do my job here if I can express my sexual desires?
See, this is why we need the pod, bro.
The pod, what? The podcast?
The masturbation pod.
Oh, the masturbation.
dude, like it's actually unprofessional. I remember I had a lesbian teacher that was cool as fuck, and I was like around 13, and everybody like at that age you already knew like, oh, she's probably one of those that like girls. That's cool, you know. But like I never needed her to be like, hey, you guys want to know how I do my thing at night with my girl? Like how the fuck does that have to do with her teaching us math? She was a really good algebra teacher.
Right.
So you see how we invert these formulas? Kind of how I invert my legs before I penetrate my lady?
Oh my God.
What?
No, imagine she was like an art teacher and she wants you like to draw the female form, and it's just them two like on the bed with each other and stuff. It's impossible for me to do my job,
bro. I think it's inappropriate for you to talk about your gay experiences, just as I think it's inappropriate for a teacher to talk about your heterosexual experiences. Like,
right.
How about you don't talk about with the kid anything you do in your fucking private life, you sick piece of shit.
Especially not a 5 and 8 year old. Like
exactly. Like what's
hey
what's
Timmy,
the
come
issue
here.
there?
You want to know why I paint my nails? Let me explain to you a little something. I don't know. It's just inappropriate, man. And to try to hide it as a thing where it's like, what? You don't want to be inclusive? So I cannot even tell this 5-year-old about my gay experiences? What the fuck?
About why I have to sit on a donut every day?
That's where I draw
How
the line,
do you want to do my
John.
job?
That's where I draw the line. So what? So I used to have to come here every morning, sit on this donut, and I don't get to explain this? What kind of sick? Is this the gulags?
Fuck.
Yeah, so I think that's the one that gets us off the air.
We're done, bro. We're done.
That's the one that gets us off the air.
It was nice knowing you guys.
No, but hey, I want to get Adrian. What's your opinion on this? Because you're a father.
Faja.
Like honestly, do you feel comfortable with, if your kid is, from those ages to be like? Do you think they would even, understand it? And would you like that?
Should Graham get the talk?
Should Graham? No. I mean, he knows like that there's people that like same sex, and he would like say like, oh, that's the guy that he likes the rainbow flags, and like he's starting to get to an age where you can have the conversation with him that there's not just guy likes girl, girl likes guy, like there's more than one sexuality. So he's getting to that age where, sexual education is going to be important and a topic that should be talked about in the science class in the appropriate setting. Makes sense. But for it to be with Lucas, who's in that age range where he's about to go to kindergarten, like, no, I don't agree. Why the hell is his teacher talking to him about that? He doesn't even understand what the hell you're saying to him. And to open that conversation, like, actually, even if you have that conversation with him, he's still not going to know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, it almost feels like more, and I don't know. I'm assuming maybe there's people that do have like a good faith and support this, but I feel like there's gonna be room for people who support this that are gonna be interested in like more suggesting shit to the kids. Like, also today I see that you picked up the pink brick. Does this mean that maybe you also like Timmy and not Tammy? I don't know, like, I don't know how they're going to take this, you know what I mean? But, like, it almost feels like you're trying to get, like, approval to do that type of shit. Because, like, why else do you need to speak to these kids about this?
Right. Doesn't make sense at all. And I personally wouldn't want any of my kids' teachers to be talking to them about it because it's not the time, the place, the age. Like, you should be teaching them how to read.
And age for
kindergarten.
For legal reasons. How old is your son, and what grade is he in?
Which one?
Both of them. Just to have it out there so we can.
The 10 is in 5th grade, and then turning 5 is going to kindergarten. So he's 4.
And even though the 10-year-old knows about the subject, you still wouldn't approve of him being taught any of this information by the teacher at school.
Not at this age, no. I still think there's other things to prioritize with his learning right now. Learning how to write, learning how to read, math, about the earth, not about sexuality. Just, once you get into middle school, sure, start introducing the conversations and whatnot.
I think, bro, like... Well, what happened then? What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna see that on the editing, and I'll laugh then. No, but the thing is, bro, like, you know how when some kid is grows in a fucked up, household because the dad isn't there, the mom is always working, and he doesn't get to really be a child because he has to grow up young, maybe to take care of his brothers and shit, and he's sort of robbed of his childhood. I feel like this is the same way, bro. Like, I remember until I was 13, I wasn't thinking of girls. I was thinking of like boy shit, right? And whatever it is that you like, I just was into hobbies, into like having fun and shit. And it's like, I don't think you should deny. Well, you guys are pieces of shit. I don't think you should like steal.
You're into boy shit.
When I was 13, I already knew I was into boys
and shit.
and shit. No, but like, bro, it's like, let them be kids and like, do their kid stuff. Like, why are you gonna bring in some like weird ass uncomfortable conversations that they don't understand yet? And it's definitely not the age to talk about it. I fully agree. I think until they're like, I don't know what the age is, but it's like somewhere around 13, 15, that's when you should, have these conversations, But besides that, like, bro, just don't teach them this weird ass shit that's uncomfortable. That, like, you as a student knew that there were things that the school wasn't there supposed to teach you. Like, you weren't expecting the school to teach you about that stuff when I was in school. I never expected that. They taught you about the venereal diseases. This is the penis, this is the vagina, but they weren't there to be like, have you ever felt that you like one of these things or both? Let's talk about it.
You guys know what a drag show is?
Oh my god.
That's where I draw the line.
Well, apparently that's a topic of conversation that needs to be had, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they start playing that in class and like, hey, look, this is... And maybe at a certain age, that's fine to talk about it. But
because, like, how about this? Sorry, John, go.
So what do you like? Me personally, I feel that the earliest that that it would be acceptable for like a classroom discussion or a teacher to talk about would be like 8th grade bordering on 7th grade, like earliest that, but like ideally should be like 10th grade.
I think so, yeah.
Or not even 9th grade, whatever.
Yeah, even like I think high school, like freshman. Yeah.
Okay. Like a freshman orientation.
A freshman, these little rascals are fucking each other. You know what I mean?
Well, some people at middle school that were already doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Again, Adrian comes from a rougher part.
They're more mature.
He's a lot more. He comes from a place that's a lot more diversified.
Robbing of the childhood you were talking about?
Yeah, robbing of the childhood. Yeah,
motherfuckers over here robbing that cradle.
Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know what that means either. Shut up. I hate you.
Hey, you dig your own graves, bro. You dig your own graves.
All right, I guess I'm out.
No, but yeah, and any last thoughts on this? Mine says, look, man, like I understand maybe if something comes up where you're in the classroom and let's say you're a gay teacher and some kid says like, oh, why did you talk this, or why did you, the other day I saw you and your wife is a guy, and then you're like, well, yes, like not everybody, some people like certain things, and I happen to be someone that likes guys, but I think this is something that maybe you should speak with your parents and they can explain to you a little bit more about how this
right.
Something
not
like
make
that,
it part of the curriculum.
Yeah, not make it part of the curriculum, like like I'm pretty sure if somebody was to tell my teacher that I was saying was lesbian, like, oh, why? Because she did dress a certain way, and she would be like, well, I mean, I don't know if she would. I mean, I don't know. We didn't even think that, but I'm saying like, if it comes up and you kind of have to like, oh, well, sometimes mommies and daddies aren't always mom and daddy. Sometimes it's a daddy and a daddy. But maybe you should, ask your parents tonight, and maybe they can tell you a little bit more.
But then like the kids have more questions that way. And they start asking you, and then another kid has a question, but like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? And it opens it up, and then there's more questions that the kids have.
Okay, I'm just saying to make it a nice way of saying like, look, I'm not gonna talk to you about this stuff. This is not my place for me to talk.
Then it shouldn't even be like that. You shouldn't even have that whole sometimes there's mommies and daddies, sometimes there's daddies and daddies, sometimes there's mommies and
All
mommies. I used to be like, look, this isn't a topic that I can talk to you about.
Sometimes there's a mommy and a daddy, and then another mommy comes, and they start doing a lot of things.
And they party,
and then another daddy
they go to
knocks the door
Vegas.
and says, "Is this the gangbang?" And then a lot of daddies and mommies get together,
And then a whole
start
bunch of
swapping.
daddies.
The mommies and the daddies. And then a little white powder comes out, and then the mommies and the daddies are getting really wild. And
And the mommies pass out, and all there is daddies, and then there's a circle. What the? Where is this going? And then it's 7 a.m, and you're like, "What?
all this gets filmed.
Now I gotta go buy a donut for my chair. How am I gonna explain this? How can I do my job?"
There's a film crew. But none of the mommies and the daddies are harmed in any of this. It's all consensual.
Yeah.
It's all
The principal
consensual.
and the security's knocking on the classroom door.
But I can't talk anymore about this. Go talk to your mommy and daddy about this.
but that's all I'm gonna say about that.
That's it.
Better ask your mommies and the daddies about that.
Fuck.
All right, well, I think that's a perfect way to end this. Thank you guys for joining us once more on the Broskiedoodles Podcast. Let us know what you think. Let us know your comments. Maybe we're fucking pieces of shit and we don't know yet. I love you. Love you guys. It's been fucking grand today. Have a good day.
Peace.
Take care. Peace.